So good morning students. So today we'll be learning about your regression chapter. Okay, so in regression we're going to learn, okay, so how we can predict the target label, okay, using the independent variable x. Okay, so we need to derive a function f of x, so where x is your features and y is your target label. So we are deriving a function f of x, y is equal to f of x. Okay, so where y will be a continuous variable. So that is what we are going to study in the regression model. Okay, so previous things in machine learning and all, so we had learned that, okay, so the output target label would be either yes or no. Okay, you are having some unique values out there, okay, so which are defined. Okay, so here in this case you may have the output which is continuous in nature. Okay, so previous cases and all what we have learned in machine learning, so the output was, okay, either it may be a binary value or it may be your multiple values, so but you are having a fixed set of values. Okay, but here the output may be continuous in nature. Okay, so sometimes even if you may have a categorical output, so that also can be represented in the form of a function which is there in the continuous form. Okay, so regression here is a well-known statistical technique, okay, to model the predictive relationship between the several independent variables and one dependent variable. Okay, so several independent variables are nothing but the features and one dependent variable is nothing but your target variable. So target variable is depending on the independent variable, so that means the target variable is depending on the features. Okay, so the output target variable is actually a function of x. Okay, so where x can be a in one feature or it can be a multiple feature. So output target variable y is defined in terms of your x, so y will be a function of x. Okay, so here we need to find the objective. Okay, the objective is to find the best fitting curve for a dependent variable in a multi-dimensional space. Okay, so we are having a target variable, so for this, so we need to derive a function, so y is equal to function of x. Okay, so for that function of x we are finding the best curve what we can fit into your multi-dimensional space. Okay, so the curve could be a straight line or it could be a non-linear curve. Okay, the quality of curve what we are trying to fit in, okay, so can be measured by a coefficient of correlation, so which is a square root of the amount of a variance explained by the curve. Okay, so you are measuring the what is the best curve. Okay, so what is the best quality of curve we are trying to fit into the particular model, okay, on the graph. Okay, so will be defined by the coefficient of your correlation, so which is nothing but the square root of your amount of variance. Okay, so explained by the curve coefficients. Okay, so let's see like how we are going to work on. Okay, so now here the steps for regression, okay, is, okay, you are having the list of variables. Okay, so first we are going to have a list of variables for making the model, so that means we are going to have a list of variables, nothing but a list of features for the model. Okay, now establish a dependent variable of interest. Okay, so dependent variable is nothing but your target variable, so identify which is a target variable, so which will be a function of x, so which will be derived in terms of your features. Okay, so target for a variable always depends on the type of your features. Now examine visual, okay, relationship between the variables of interest. Okay, so now we are going to plot these features on a scatter plot. Okay, and then check out what kind of relationship we can obtain between the variables of your interest. Okay, so after plotting them on a scatter plot, okay, now we'll try to find a way to predict the dependent variable using the other variables. Okay, so you are predicting the dependent variable using the other variables. So in a sense like, okay, so testing time you are you want a particular function. Okay, so if a target variable is not given, you are trying to find out what is a target variable depending on the new test samples. Okay, so now this curve, okay, whenever we draw that particular curve, so we are trying to find out a function in terms of the curve fitting to find out what is a target variable. So that is what your regression says. So regression we can also take it as a curve fitting. Okay, so before going to plan the curve fitting. Okay, before going to check out, have a scatter plot and find out what are the curves we can have. So we should know what is the correlation and the relationship. Okay, so statistical relationships, okay, are about which elements of data hang together and which ones which may are not hanging separately. Okay, so relationship always defines that which are the elements that are having the relationship together and which are the elements that are not having a relationship. Okay, so it is about like categorizing variables that have a relationship with one another and categorizing variables that are distinct and unrelated to the other variable. So you can find some of the correlation between the variables. Okay, so you can find that there is some relationship between the set of features whatever we have obtained. Okay, and sometimes we find no relationship between the set of features whatever we have obtained. Okay, so that's we can say they can hang together and they may hang separately. Okay, now correlation is describing the significant positive relationship and it is also describing the significant negative differences. Okay, so they may be related in a positive manner or they may be related in a opposite direction, so in the negative direction. Okay. So the first and foremost measure, okay, of the first and foremost measure of your strength of relationship is nothing but your correlation. The strength of correlation is a quantity measured that is measured in a normalized range between the 0 and 1. Okay? If a correlation of 1 indicates a perfect relationship where the two variables are in perfect synchrony. Okay? So you can imagine that. Okay? So you can have a correlationship of 1 indicates like you can have, if you are going to have in this fashion, if you are going to plot x and y, okay, x is here in the horizontal and y is in the y dependent variable which is there in the vertical direction. So for perfect correlation of 1 is indicating that you are going to have a perfect line like this. Okay, so you may have a perfect line like this. I'm not getting exact line. Okay, so you may have a perfect line. Okay, you may have a straight line. Okay, so you may have a straight line like this. So this is positive 1. Okay, so like that, okay, a correlation of 0 indicates that there is no relationship between the variable. Okay, this is for plus 1. Okay, so for plus 1 you may have a linear relationship like this. Okay, so if I am going to plot x in the horizontal direction and y in the vertical direction, okay, so for minus 1 they may be related in the opposite direction, negative direction. So this may be for minus 1. So this lies, okay, plus 1. So this is linear, this is also linear. Okay, so this is saying that so they are related in a positive manner. So the variables are related in the variable x and y are related in a positive manner and which is growing linearly, and here also the variables x and y are related, that is also linear but they are related in a reverse or inverse direction. Okay, so correlation of 0 indicates that there is no relationship between the variables. Okay, so you have a correlation of 1 indicates a perfect relationship where the two variables are in perfect synchrony. So like that, so correlation will help us define what is the relationship existing between the independent variable x and dependent variable y. Okay. So now here we say that the relationship can be positive. Okay, so relationship can be positive or it can be inverse relationship, that is a variables may move together in the same direction or in the opposite direction. So that we have just seen in the diagram. So they are moving in one direction or it may be in the opposite direction. So therefore a good measure of correlation is a correlation coefficient, so which is a square root of your correlation. So we have certain formula to measure this coefficient of correlation, and you take a square of that, square root of correlation. So that will exactly give you what is the exact relationship between the independent variable x and dependent variable y. The coefficient we are calling that as r can thus range from -1 to +1. Okay, If r is 0, signifies no relationship. Okay, if r is value is 1, shows perfect relationship in the same direction. So that you can see the graph growing like this. And r is -1, so perfect relationship exists between x and y, but it is moving in the opposite direction. Okay. Now given two numeric variables x and y, so x is independent and y is a dependent variable. So y is a target variable. The coefficient of correlation r is mathematically computed by the following equation. So you can have r, okay, which is nothing but x minus x bar into y minus y bar. Okay. So divided by square root of x minus x bar of whole square into y minus of y bar of whole square. Okay. So where x bar is nothing but mean of x, okay, and y bar is a mean of your y. So visual look at relationship, always we have a scatter plot. Okay. So by plotting the x and y on the graph. Okay. So you find out a relationship between two variables, two-dimensional graph. So this is providing a visual layout where all the data points are placed in the two-dimensional space. Okay. So you can observe here. Okay. So you have plotted x, okay, and plotted y. So these are the two variables. So x is independent variable and y is dependent variable. That means y is a target variable and x is your features. Okay. So it may be one feature, it may be more than one feature. Okay. So you have different formulas for pointing it. If it is a single value, we can easily point it. If you are having multiple set of features, but all of them need to be represented using a single point. So for that you have different formulas. So that we have already seen in your machine learning and all. Okay. So this you are going to plot x and y. You can see that there is some sort of relationship between x and y. So when we can try to plot a graph here. So this is actually the values at the time of your training, you can say. Okay. So now x and y. Okay. Now to define the relationship between x and y, we need to get y in terms of x. So you are defining a function f of x in terms of y will be in terms of f of x. Okay. So to get that function, so that function should represent some curve. Okay. So when you can take that, so this you can easily draw a particular curve like this. Okay. So this can be a linear curve. Okay. You can draw a linear curve like this. Okay. So similarly, this also is showing some relationship, but the correlation may be in the inverse direction. Here also you are drawing a linear curve. Okay. Now here there is no perfect linear curve we can draw, but there is some relationship, there is some curve which we are obtaining from here. Okay. So this is also, there is some relationship. So here also you get a curve. For this curve you may also get some function, so in terms of some polynomial. Okay. So here also you may get some curve, okay, where your data points are coming here. Okay. So but here the points are so much scattered that there may be no relationship existing here. So here also all the points are scattered, so it is very difficult to get a particular curve fitting over here. Okay. So there you can see that there may be no relationship existing between x and y. So easily you cannot have any particular perfect curve fitting over here. Okay. So like that, so this is a what regression. We are trying to find out some particular curve which is fitting onto your data point. So that curve is actually is nothing but representing some equation. So using that equation you can easily predict the target variable. Okay. So for that, if it is a linear equation, so it will be in terms of line, straight line. Okay. Now y will be equal to mx plus c, okay, in terms of your straight line. So you can predict easily the y value. Okay. Now regression exercise, let's have some regression exercise. The regression model is described as a linear equation. Okay. So like first diagram. Okay. So it can be described as a linear equation. So y is dependent variable. Okay. And that the variable being predicted. For that you need to make a predictions for y. Okay. And x is independent variable. So that is called as a predictor variable. So that means x is used, okay, for making the prediction. So it is called as a predictor variable. Okay. So y is being predicted. So that is a target value which we are want to find out. Okay. So now there could be many predictor variables. Okay. So x1, x2, and so on in the regression equation. Okay. So however, there can be only one dependent variable, only one target variable always in a regression equation. Okay. So now y we can define in terms of some constants, b naught plus b1 into x plus epsilon. Epsilon is defining some error. Okay, so whenever we plot any particular line, so always 100% correct, it may not be there, it may not be covering some line, so there may be some error. So epsilon is defining some particular error over there. Okay, now this example, okay, so it is looking blurred here, so you can just refer to the textbook. Okay, so what I've already passed on to you. So where, okay, this is defining the house prices and this is defining the size of a house. Okay, so now the problem here is, so you are supposed to predict what is the house price. This is your target level. So depending on the size of the house. Okay, so this is a example, so set of examples using which you can develop a regression model, and during testing time, you are of a size of a house is given, you are supposed to predict the price. Okay, so depending on the regression model what you obtain, so depending on the line what we obtain. Okay, now we have a scatter plot for that. Okay, so this is showing the x is, this is independent variable and y is a dependent variable. The price of the house is depending on the size of the house. So this is dependent variable and this is independent variable. Okay, so we are just plotting this on the graph. Okay, so we are plotting on the graph. Okay, so now this is a linear. You can see that there's some sort of linearity existing between the points what is plotted on the graph. So you can say that this is forming the linear regression. Okay, this is forming a linear regression here. Okay, now after calculation, okay, so we get r value is equal to 0.891. So the measure of total variance, you can take r square, so that is 0.794. Okay, you can approximately take it to be 79%. Okay, and intercept will be minus 594191. So size square feet per slope, so that will be 139.48. Okay, so this means that, okay, so intercept is nothing but, see, if I am plotting a graph, okay, so if I plot some graph, okay, like this, so now this is a point, okay, where this is your actually intercept point. Okay, this is an intercept point. So m defines the slope. Okay, m is always defining the slope, so y is defining the intercept. Okay, so for a straight line, we know that the equation is always y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so y is mx plus c. Okay, now c can be found by substituting known value of x in the equation. Okay, now here we have got the house price, so that is your dependent variable, which will be equal to m value we have obtained. Okay, so that is nothing but 139.48 into x. Okay, so we are predicting the house price depending on the size, so this will be your x. Okay, so plus c, so c value is nothing but your 54191. This is your intercept, so c is this point always, so this is your intercept. Okay, if you want to find a price of your any house, okay, if you just substitute the the size in terms of your square feet, okay, then you will get the actual house price. Okay, so this equation shows that 79% of variance in the house prices. Okay, so I'll show you how we actually get these values, how the calculation is done. Okay, now here we want to know, like we need to calculate m and b, intercept. Okay, so y is equal to mx plus c. Okay, so we want to predict the house prices. For that, we need to know, we know the x value. So x is a dependent independent variable which is already given. Okay, now we want to find out y is equal to mx plus c. So m is unknown and c is unknown. Okay, how do we calculate m? Okay, so when we want to calculate, okay, so y is equal to, okay, mx plus c. So you have y is equal to m and x is your dependent variable. Okay, and c is your intercept. Okay, so c is your intercept. Okay, now we know what is x. Okay, so x is a square size in terms of square feet. So y is your the house price what we want to calculate. Okay, now this function when we want to derive, we need to know what is the m value and what is your c value. Okay, So this function we are deriving based on the training examples values given. Okay. So now how do we calculate m and how to calculate c? Okay. Now m is calculated by, okay, so xi minus summation of I is equal to 1 to n. Okay. So taking in concern all the values of x, okay, I minus x bar into yi minus y bar. Okay. Now x bar is nothing but it is defining the mean of x. So you are taking a summation of all x's divided by n. Okay. And here you are taking a summation of all y and divided by n. Okay. So xi minus x bar into yi minus y bar. So like that, this is to be done for all the values of, for all the training examples from 1 to n. Okay. Now divided by, okay, I is equal to 1 to n into xi into x bar whole square. So this to be done for all the training examples I is equal to 1 to n. Then we can find the slope of your straight line m. Okay. Now you have to find out the intercept. Okay. So intercept here we have just mentioned it as b. Okay. So in the equation we have mentioned it as b. You can write like it as a c. C is equal to y bar. Okay. Y bar is the mean of y. Okay. Minus m into x bar. Okay. So this is how we are going to calculate the intercept value. Okay. So now here I'll just show you, okay, how did we calculate, okay, the value. So in this equation we have obtained 79% of the variance in the house prices. So this is actually saying that 79% of time we can judge, okay, whatever curve we have got, the linear line we have got. Okay. So we can judge easily what is the target variable, that is nothing but your house prices. Okay. So now I'll just show you like, okay, how we obtain those particular values. Okay. So you can see here, okay, so I've just taken, okay, so now this is the thing what we have just obtained the thing. I'll just show you the thing. Okay. So now here these are the number of training examples 1 to 15. Okay. So this is the size of your house in terms of your square feet. So these are the values what we are seeing in the slides. Okay. Now 1 to 15. So these are the prices given, okay, house prices given. So we have taken that as a dependent variable. So this is given in the table. Okay. Now we have to find out the x bar. So I have just taken the sum of all the values of x, sum of all the values of y. Okay. Now x bar is nothing but mean of all this. Okay. So mean of all this. So we are taking the x bar. So this sum divided by n is your total number of training example, that is 15. So we have got this. Okay. Now y defines the mean of your dependent variable y. So to get the mean of dependent variable y, we are taking this total of this divided by 15. So we'll get this particular value. Okay. Now similarly, so we are going to take x minus x bar, okay, x value minus of x bar value for this xi. So we're training example 1. So likewise training example 2. Okay. And then we have taken that, okay, for all the values. So similarly we have done that for, okay, the values of your y also. Okay. So y minus of this value. Okay. So we get this one. So y minus y bar. Again y minus of this value, we get this one. So similarly we have done it for all. Okay. Now we wanted to calculate, okay, so the coefficient of correlation R. Okay. So for that we need to multiply, okay, x minus, you have just seen the formula. Okay. So in this formula here it's saying that, okay, so we are just seeing the formula here. So the formula was saying, okay, coefficient, okay, we just wait, okay, just wait. Okay. Anyway, the formula R, okay, is saying that, okay, x minus x bar, okay, into, we need to have x minus x bar into y minus y bar, okay, the summation of all we need, okay, this one, okay, now divided by, okay, so again we need to take x minus x bar whole square, okay, we need to find, and y minus y bar whole square, okay, so x minus x bar we have taken square of this, okay, y minus y bar the square of this one, okay, now we have taken all the summation of this and summation of this, okay, so now multiply these two, okay, so multiply these two, okay, so this value with this value, so we are here, okay, so h17, you can see h17 into j17, so multiply these two squared values, x minus x bar whole square into y minus y bar whole square, you are taking this, then this take the square root of this one, okay, now this will be your denominator, so numerator will be, numerator for r will be, okay, so always we are taking numerator for r will be, okay, so f17, okay, so this is nothing but x minus x bar, the summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar, so this value divided by this value we obtain r is equal to 0.89 okay, so if you take a square of that, so we are getting 0.7941, okay, so this how we have obtained the values of r is 0.891 and r square is 0.79, okay, so next we need to calculate m, okay, now m is calculated by, okay, so you can refer like m is to be calculated by sum x minus x bar into y minus y bar, the summation of all divided by x minus x bar whole square, so summation of I is equal to 1 to n, so this is the summation of all the training example. So now we are taking x minus x bar into y minus y bar, okay, so x minus x bar into, okay, if you are taking x minus x bar into y minus y bar, okay, so that the total of that x minus x bar into y minus y bar, this is total of this, okay, so this thing divided by x minus x bar whole square, so x minus x bar whole square, the summation of that is this one, okay, now m is obtained by, you can see f17 divided by h17, so this is x minus x bar into y minus y bar, the summation of all the 10 example divided by summation of x minus x bar whole square, so we get the m value as 139.48, okay. Now we want to find the intercept b, okay. Intercept b is equal to y bar minus of m into x bar, okay. M into x bar, so m is this value, x bar is this value, so you are getting m into x bar is this value, okay. Then y bar, okay, intercept b, so is obtained, so that is y bar minus of this value, so y bar is this value minus of this value, we get minus 541, so this is the value what we obtained, okay. We have obtained, okay, here we have got 139.48, okay, that is your slope m, and intercept is minus 54191, so that is your b, or in the equation you can call that as a c value, okay. You have obtained r as 0.891 and r square as 79%, okay. Now this is, okay, now y is equal to mx plus c, y is your house price, which is equal to 139.48 into size of square feet minus 54191, okay. So this is how we are going to calculate for a straight line. So these formulas we have used for calculation of m, slope and intercept c, that you can also mention it as a c in the equation. So in general we have always mentioned that the equation explains only 79% of variance in the house prices. Suppose other predictive variables are made available, such as the number of rooms in the house, it might help improve the regression model. So that means here we had only one feature, that is your square feet size in terms of your square feet. If you have few more variables or features defined, okay, so curves would be still better, and the predictions would be can be improved, so your accuracy of your regression model would be improved, okay. So like that, now this is your target variable again, and now here instead of having one feature you are having two features, okay. So that is size and the rooms, okay. So for that it is also possible to make three-dimensional scatter plot, okay, and one can alternately examine the correlation, okay. So you again have certain formulas, so using this formulas you can define the equation in for a three-dimensional parameter, okay. Now it shows that house price has strong relationship with the number of rooms. Okay, so we have got R value as 0.944. Okay, so adding the variable to the regression model will add the strength of the model. So that means now their previous way with only one feature we had 79% of variance, so now we are having 94% of variance. So this is saying we are having a very strong relationship. So now running a regression model between these three variables produces the output. Okay, now here I just showed you how to calculate it manually, but actually we are having lots of tools. Okay, so where we can run a regression model by submitting feeding features to it, and that is actually giving you what is a coefficient of correlation, so that you understand what is the relationship between the x and y. Okay, so that's why we say we are running a regression model. So that means we feed in the parameters to your model, the inbuilt model. Lots of tools are there where we have inbuilt model. So where it regression model, if you just feed in the parameters, it will tell you what are the coefficients. Okay, so adding a new variable has improved the strength of regression model. So from 79% it improved to 94.4%. Okay, so now this running the regression model with for the above table, we have got the parameters like R is 0.984, okay, and R square is 0.968, and you have got the intercept, okay, and the square feet per size, that is a slope for that, okay, and the rooms, this thing, 3-dimensional say one more value for that. So you have got this. Okay, now taking these value, okay, now general form of regression equation now. So there it was okay, y bar minus mx. So now here, because you're having two variables, okay, x1 and x2, so now your equation will go like this. So y bar minus instead of mx, okay, instead of mx for intercept c, you are calculating y bar minus mx. Instead of mx now, because you're having two parameters, it is b1 x1 bar minus b2 x2 bar. Okay, so regression equation for the given problem, by running regression model we have the previous parameters. Okay, so now one value for x 65.6 into square feet, you can just take here 65.6. so this is for x1. Now additional parameter x2 you have added, so that will be for the next one. Okay, so into 2613 into rooms. Okay, so 2613 613 into rooms, then intercept is 129. Okay, so we have intercept is 12924. Okay, now by predicting this, to predict the house price, if you feed in what is the square feet and what is the number of rooms, you can predict the house price. Okay, now given a situation below, it will be possible to predict the price of house with 2000 square feet and 3 rooms. Okay, now we want to predict what is the price of the house. Okay, so the test samples are like this. It is given 2000 square feet and 3 rooms. So now you want to predict what's the house price. So in this formula, if you instead of x1 we you feed 2000 and here you feed 3 rooms, then you get a price in terms of your dollar by evaluating this equation. So this is how your regression model will work. Okay, now we have a general formula. Okay, so equation of intercept y bar minus of b1 into x1 bar minus of b2 into x2 bar. Okay, now b1 can be calculated like here we are just showing in detail how we got the previous value. Okay, if you want to check out how did you achieve these values. Okay, so how did you get these values, 65.6, okay, and what is the intercept 23613 and this intercept value, you can take that table and find out by using the above formula. So you will get those values. So please work out at home by taking that particular table. Okay, now this is another example, so where we have given some of our variables. Okay, so the calculations are shown like this. Okay, so your formulas are given, you can work out with the formulas, okay, and find out what are the values of it. So here he has taken the values of b1 and b2 and he has calculated the values of your intercept a. Okay, for two variables x1 and x2. Okay, here is taken the values of your b1, b2 and a. Then finally regression equation can be obtained by, okay, so b1 x1 plus b2 x2 in plus your intercept. Okay, so x1 and x2 if you put it, you are getting the exact value. Okay, so that we talked about your linear regression. So now non-linear regression, that means the curve may not be a linear, may not be a line. Okay, it may not be a line which is going in one direction or going in the other direction. It may be a curvilinear. So that is called as a non-linear regression. So relationship between the variables may be curvilinear. Okay, like we have shown in the first example, it may be curvilinear. Okay, so for the example given, past data from electricity consumption, so kilowatts per hour at temperature. Okay, now the objective is to predict the electrical consumption from the temperature value. Okay, so you want to predict what may be the electrical consumption depending on the temperature. Okay, if the temperature is more, people are maybe running their fans, they're running the ACs and all, so your consumption of your electricity is more. Okay, so depending on the temperature, what is the electrical consumption? So this is what we want to judge. So for that we are obtaining the regression in terms of your curve fitting. So then that equation will give you the output. Okay, will give you the target value for the unknown variables. Okay, the diagram, the values we have predicted. So now we are obtaining one curve. Okay, so here another curve also we are plotting. So by taking one temperature value, another temperature square, the same value we have squared as to add on as another feature, then we have got a straight line. Okay, now two graph we have got. So square plot showing regression between quartz and temperature square. So here is another graph, and this is curvilinear and this is a sort of linear. Okay, so the relationship between your kilowatts follows a curvilinear, okay, where it hits a bottom at certain value of temperature. Okay, so regression model confirms the relationship since R is only 0.77 and R square is also only 60%. So that regression model if I run for your, okay, with only the temperature value, so R is 77 and R square is 60%. Okay, now if I double the value of temperature okay, in the feature set, and I can run the regression model, okay, then actually our equation, I mean we are getting a better results. Okay, so regression model can then be enhanced using a temperature square variable in the equation. Then the second line relationship which shows the kilowatts into hertz and temperature square, so where the model is enhanced and we are getting the better results. Okay, so now regression model, running the regression model after adding the quadratic variable leads to the following result. Okay, now it shows that coefficient of the correlation of regression model is now 0.99. Okay, that means it has improved. Okay, now the total variance explained by the equation is 98.5. It's improved drastically. Okay, when we take a temperature square, so we are getting 98.5. So this means this is improved a lot. That means the variables are very strongly and positively correlated. Okay, so now running the regression model. So this is the following statistics we have. So we are getting R square is 98.4. So we have got this intercept. So with the temperature, it is minus 1911 and temperature square, another variable 15.87. Okay, so now we can use that. Okay, so with the temperature 15.87 temperature square plus minus 199 into temperature plus the intercept value. So this is our regression equation. So using this, okay, we can judge or we can predict the energy consumption in terms of your kilowatts, energy consumption. So now if you want at a particular instant of time, the temperature is 72 degrees. Okay, now what will be the energy consumption? Okay, so that can be obtained by substituting 72 in these places. Here we take 72 into 72 square, and then we get the answer. So this is how we make the predictions used by obtaining the equations. Okay, equations in terms of your curve fitting, or linear or non-linear or curvilinear. So next we talk about your logistic regression. So logistic regression model can work with a dependent variable with binary values. Okay, so such as whether a loan is approved or not. Okay, so dependent variable in previous case we said it is continuous values. Okay, now here dependent variable are binary values such as whether a loan is approved or not. Logistic regression means the relationship between a categorical dependent variable and one or more independent variable. So that means the features, you can have one or more features. Output, the dependent variable or the target variable is categorical in nature. That means it may be in terms of yes or no, in terms of 0 or 1. Okay. Now logistic regression might be used to predict whether a patient is having a given disease or it is not having a disease. So based on observed characteristics of a patient, like the independent variables like age, gender, body mass index, results of blood tests, etc. So logistic regression models use probabilistic score as well as the predicted values of your dependent variables. You may be using a probability scores for the independent variables. Okay. Now this will take logistic regression takes the natural logarithm of the odds of the dependent variable being a case to create a continuous criterion as a transform version of a dependent variable. So this means that, okay, now the output variable in case of your linear regression is continuous. Okay, now y is equal to function of x. Okay, that if it is a equation what we are obtaining. Okay, the function of x can be a linear, can be a straight line, can be a curved line, can be any polynomial, can be represented by any polynomial, but y will be a continuous values. But here in the previous slide I said y, the dependent variable, is in the categorical. So categorical means it is either 0 or 1, yes or no. Okay, to make that dependent variable as a continuous criteria, so we can transform that dependent variable in the training example by applying some transformations on that. Okay, so remember we are going to transform the dependent variable, that is your target variable, as to make that target variable from categorical to continuous. Okay, by applying some transformations on that. We want y, dependent variable, or target variable, to be continuous in nature. Okay, so it is categorical in nature. We can transform, if we wish, we can transform that into continuous criteria by applying some transformations on that. What are those transformations? What we are applying is nothing but your natural logarithms of some odd numbers. Okay, so you can take any odd numbers. So we apply that. Okay, so that is a transformation. So that transformation we can you are calling it as a logit. Okay, natural logarithm transformation. So we are calling that as a logit. Okay, logit transformations used in logic regression as a dependent variable. So the net effect is that although the dependent variable is logistic regression is binomial, it turns out to be your continuous. Okay, so logit is continuous function upon which linear regression is conducted. So you it's so that linear regression is easy to form a equation and predict the future values. Okay, so we try to take that output variable which is continuous in nature in terms of your linear regression by making the transformation on the dependent variable in terms of applying the logarithm. So that we are calling it as a logit. Okay, so that our calculations becomes easier. So here is a general logistic function which is independent variable on a horizontal axis. Okay, so independent variable, that is your x on the horizontal axis, and the logic dependent variable on the vertical axis. So when we make that, we try to make a y value as a continuous value. So all popular data mining platforms provide support for regular multiple regression model as well as a option for logistic regression. So all the models will be covering both linear and non-linear equations. So advantages of regression model. So regression models are easy to understand and built upon the statistics principles such as a correlation and least square error. Okay, easily you can understand and implement it. Okay, by getting an equation. So in the equation, okay, the output of the equation, if you evolve it, that will be giving you the actual target variable. So regression model provide a simple algebraic equation that are easy to understand and use. Okay, The strength of regression model is measured in terms of your correlation coefficient and other related statistical parameters that are well understood. And the strength will be measured by the R value, that is correlation coefficient. Okay, so by getting that value, you can know how what is the strength of it. So how strongly the variables, the features, and the output variables are related with each other. Okay, then regression model can match and beat the predictive power of the other modeling techniques. Okay, so it can compete with the other predictive power of the modeling techniques for making the predictions. Regression models can include all the variables that one wants to include in the model. Okay, so whatever variables you want, you can include in the model and make the predictions. Okay, so regression modeling tools are pervasive. That means easily it can adapt. Okay, so you can have spread wide throughput. That means more of predictions you can make. So it can easily adapt to the many functions. Okay, they are found in statistical package as well as data mining packages. So MS Excel spreadsheets and also provide a simple regression modeling capabilities. Okay, now the disadvantage of regression model. So regression model cannot cover for proof for poor data quality issues. If your data quality is not good, then the predictions accuracy will not be good. So it cannot cover about the poor quality of your data. So your data should be pure enough, correct enough, then only the output is correct. Correct curves you will get and the output will be correct. So regression models suffer from collinearity problems, meaning strong linear correlations among some independent variables. So you may have strong linear correlationship among the features itself. Okay, like we expect to have strong relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. Sometimes we'll have strong relationship between the features itself. Regression model can be widely and unreliable if a large number of variables are included in model. So if you have large number of features, then this may not be so good. So regression models do not automatically take care of your non-linearity. Automatically it will not take care of non-linearity. So you need to make some transformations to obtain that. Okay. So regression model work only with numeric data and not with categorical variables. So always it is expecting to have a numerical data. Like in the previous chapter we have seen decision tree. Okay, so sunny, rainy, all those stuff. Okay, it will not work out with that. It always expects to have a numeric value. Okay, so that is a drawback here. So now conclusion. So you can say that regression models are simple, okay, and versatile, easily adapt to many functions. Okay, and you can visualize the things with the help of graphical tools and with a high predictive ability. So they include non-linear as well as binary prediction. So regression model should be used in conjunction with the other data mining techniques to confirm the findings. Okay, so you can just have a comparison. So we'll stop here. Okay, so